Weather-wise, catching a break in Pittsburgh. Very cold during the week. Couple of pleasant days on the weekend. 57 degrees game time temperature today. Sean Payton's team, losers of 3 in a row, remarkably all at home against 3 very good teams, the 49ers, the Bengals, and then last week against Baltimore. Meanwhile, for Mike Tomlin, 42 years young, out of Newport News, Virginia. Taking the Steelers to the playoffs 4 times, 3 divisional championships, but back-to-back 8-8 seasons. And they're starting to get a little antsy. They're used to postseason football here in the Steel City.
Well, only 3 big-time coaches have played here, and they've all had success. I think when you think of Mike Tomlin and what he's been able to do since he's been here, 2 Super Bowl champions, and then you look at also their quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, has been a staple of this football team, the face of the franchise. And with Mike Tomlin, they're looking for him to get back on track, and this would be the year for them to do it.
Saints won the toss, deferred to get to the football in the second half, and this one banged through the back of the end zone by Thomas Morstead. So here comes Big Ben, 32 years old, grew up in Corey, Rawson, Ohio. Has the league's 4th most passing yards, a career best 68% of his passes he's completed. And look at those numbers at home, where the Steelers are averaging 35 points per game.
You know what, when you look at this offense, I've always said I think they need to get back to the old running style with the Jerome Bettises. But when you have Le'Veon Bell, he not only can run the football effectively, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So keep an eye on to see if they attack the run here to get the defense to show what they're going to do.
Hey, base. Set it.
They'll throw it on first down. And overthrown. He had an eye on the second-year wideout Marcus Wheaton. The Steeler team offensively, so many weapons. Bell in his second year out of Michigan State. Is there anybody better so far this year at wide receiver than Antonio Brown?
Not at all. You know, and that's just the comfort level that he and Ben both have. It's something that they work on during the practice week. And I think with Ben, being an older veteran in this game, he understands you need a security blanket. So it's not always a deep pass. Watch it immediately.
First carry for Le'Veon Bell. Looking for running room, and not much there. Maybe picked up 3. Meanwhile, for the New Orleans Saints defensively, they were ranked number 4 overall in defense last year under Rob Ryan. They have slipped all the way to 27th this year.
You know, I look at this defense, and it all starts up front, and I think they're not winning the line of scrimmage. You have to win a line of scrimmage battle, and that's getting to the quarterback, stopping the run. They've been giving up entirely too many big explosive plays in the running game, and that leads to getting being a 3rd and medium, 3rd and short. They need to force this team to be back behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, 3rd down has been so critical for this Saints defense, and the Steelers will cash in on 3rd down. And who else? You talked about that security blanket. Antonio Brown is NFL leading 89th reception.
In the last 4 weeks, this young man has been targeted 49 times with 38 catches. You can definitely tell the comfort level with Ben Roethlisberger. Look, for all quarterbacks, you want to spread the ball around, get everybody involved to get the defense to understand we're not just going to our number 1 guy. And when you have a guy like Antonio Brown, you find ways to put the ball in his hands.
The last 2 weeks, the Bengals and the Ravens were 18 of 26. Think about that for a minute. 18 out of 26 success on 3rd down. And on first down, Martavis Bryant, the rookie out of Clemson, crosses midfield. Another Steeler first down.
You know, if you just take a look here, Ben Roethlisberger doing an excellent job of showing ball to the linebackers can now commit and go right over the top to his wide receiver here. When you have a wide receiver with the height of Bryant, you can just put it up, let him go get it, and then now just let him be an athlete and run through tackles. Great job by Ben Roethlisberger in this offense.
Boy, 4 down.
A couple of youngsters, Bryant and Wheaton, have combined so far this year for 8 touchdown receptions.
Blue 80. Blue 80.
Bell, his second carry, and he's down to the 43-yard line. Bell coming off his best game in the NFL against Tennessee 2 weeks ago. Remember, the Steelers had a bye week last week. 204 rushing yards, the 4th most all time in a game in Steeler history.
And the comeback came from really with them running the football. Normally when you're down on offense, you want to spread the ball around, get the ball downfield, get some quick strikes. But they decided to run the football. That's just the comfort level and also the maturation process that they have in Le'Veon Bell.
Well, how about that shot of Franco Harris? The flea flicker here did not fool the Saints, and Roethlisberger just throws it away. Read beautifully by Keenan Lewis, the former Steeler.
He could have just afforded 2 or 3 more seconds with that. He had Antonio Brown going down the middle of the football field. If you just take a look here, great job by Antonio Brown selling the run, getting up to the safety and creating separation to turn with Carl's hips. That right there would have been an explosive play and had probably this fan base going crazy.
So another third down, the second on this game-opening drive.
Hey, base, 50-50.
Nearly intercepted. Roethlisberger under pressure, and Corey White nearly got it. So the Steelers will punt.
You know what? It's something to be said, but your offensive line, has to battle. But give a little credit here to this defensive line. Cameron Jordan coming off, being able to get on the arm of Ben Roethlisberger to force a high pass, which almost led to a turnover, which would have went the other way.
Brad Wing to punt.
Brad Wing to punt. Jalen Saunders standing back at his own 10-yard line, end over end punt. And down to the 15. So when we come back, we'll get a look at Drew Brees after a good start for this Saints defense. Drew Brees and the Saints get the football for the first time today, starting from their own 15, under heavy pressure right away, and he dumps it off to Mr. Dependable over the last 8 years, and that would be Pierre Thomas. And a first down on first down. Much has been made about the Saints playing on the road. How do they play outside of the dome down in New Orleans? Those are not bad numbers for a quarterback in a career on the road.
Just when you look at this offense, you think outside in bad weather conditions, they got to run the football. They're not a power running football team, but we're marking them this year. Things have changed.
Let's throw it again. Looked like a pretty good pass right there to Nick Toon, who's been inactive for all but 2 games during this entire year. But again, they're without Robert Meacham.
Number 72 offense, 10-yard penalty remains. First down.
Teron Armstead whistled for the penalty. Pete Morelli, our referee today in Pittsburgh.
You just take a look here. You'll see the left tackle, getting caught for a holding. Something we said that we were talking to Mike Tomlin when he was talking about old Devo back, meaning James Harrison. And the pressure that he's been applying the last 4 weeks has been quite impressive. So keep an eye on that matchup going on throughout the whole day.
First carry from Mark Ingram, former Heisman Trophy winner out of Alabama, up to the 21-yard line. Well, the Saints, when you look at some of the numbers, Donovan, they look really good. Second overall in offense, but not scoring at the same rate as they have in years past.
And that's the thing, talking to Drew Brees, he wanted them to be a little bit more consistent in the red zone. They have opportunities from their defense or possibly drives. They're just not capitalizing. And that usually, at the end of the game, have ended up hurting them.
Cutting it back to the inside is Cadet. His 33rd catch of the year. It'll bring up a third down for New Orleans. They put the old band back together here again in Pittsburgh defensively.
When you look at these 4 guys, I tell you, it all starts with Ike Taylor getting hurt in the Carolina game. He had been out. Watching some of these young guys develop, talking to him yesterday, he basically was impressed by what McCann and Blake have been able to bring to the table. And Dick LeBeau has been the staple of this defense. And I tell you, they look at Dick LeBeau as Pop, as they call him.
What an extraordinary career the Hall of Fame defensive coordinator the Steelers has had. Good protection here. And incomplete. He had an eye on Marcus Colston. And right there, step for step in coverage, was Bryce McCain, who continues to get more and more playing time in absence of Cortez Allen.
That's the whole thing right there. Great job of getting a hand on the ball and just distracting Marcus Colston. Mike Tomlin spoke highly of McCann, of what he's been able to do in Ike Taylor's his absence. But, you know, it's more to be said about this defense. It's the next man up mentality and the confidence that they have in these guys stepping up to make plays. And that right there defines it.
Morstead just does get it away. Angling near the sideline, and we'll see where they spot it.
Is out of bounds. First down, Steelers.
Right at the 35. On that punt, Bryce McCain injured. Appeared to be reaching for his right hamstring. Carissa will have more on that shortly. First down carry by Le'Veon Bell. Well, we talked about it's not always who you play or when you play, but where you play.
Right.
Look at the NFC South. Every team with at least 7 losses now because of the one head-to-head game, a win by Atlanta over New Orleans week 1. They would hold the tiebreaker, but they have another game left. Who wants to win that thing?
You know, that's the big question right now. You look at Atlanta, sometimes they show you something on offense, but defensively, they just don't have it. In New Orleans, same way. So I think for that particular game, that may be the deciding game.
Of course, Carolina, the defending divisional champion, may have something to say about all that. And a big run for Le'Veon Bell. He's up to midfield, and that's a Steeler first down.
Great job right here, Le'Veon Bell, but it was spurred open by Will Johnson, their fullback, being able to open up the hole. Le'Veon Bell has really impressed a lot of these coaches here, including the players, of just how he's continued to improve, not only picking up the blitz, which is important by running back, but picking up those extra yards you need to keep the chains moving.
Bell, a young man who grew up in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, just outside of Columbus, was not recruited by Ohio State, wound up at Michigan State, and well, you can understand why the Spartans wanted him. Taking half a defense to try and drag him down.
You know, it's something to be said when a running back, you know, is delivering the blow, getting his pads underneath the defender and being able to keep his legs moving. It's about the drive. And this young man takes you back to the old, you know, the old Jerome Bettis, the bus. You talk about Franco Harris, all these strong running backs who have taken the pressure off of their quarterbacks, and he's doing that this year for Ben Roethlisberger.
Second most rushing yards in the NFL. There's Franco. They're having the 1974 reunion over this weekend in Pittsburgh. That was the first Steeler team to win a Super Bowl. Le'Veon Bell for maybe a yard. We'll check in for the first time today with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
Well, since everybody in the NFC South is still in it, Saints fans will like this. Carolina down 7-0. Kyle Rudolph threw a 4-yard catch from Teddy Bridgewater, and the Vikings have the lead in -7-degree wind chill Minnesota. Tom and Donovan.
Hold on.
All right, thank you very much, Kurt.
Yeah.
10 plays, 5 passes, 5 rushes for the Steelers. They're on the move this second possession.
Ball 68. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains. First down.
Donovan, all of that going on with Ben Roethlisberger. Take us through what he's doing at the line of scrimmage.
Well, what you want to do is you want the defense to show their hand, so to speak. Now they're going in motion, bringing a running back out, seeing if a linebacker or a safety will go out to cover, knowing they have man if they decide to do that. Right there, they stayed in the zone and just let Keenan Lewis just kind of outflank to cover a guy like Le'Veon Bell. But unfortunately, you know, Kelvin Beachum jumping off sides really messed things up. But expect them to go back to that same formation to attack the middle of the field.
Play fake. Roethlisberger moving around and throws a little too tall for Marcus Wheaton. He was open down at the 20-yard line.
You know, again, Ben Roethlisberger in a great fake, sticking the ball out, showing the ball so linebackers can commit. Here, it looked like he was trying to go inside, but ended up going to his third read, which ended up going backside to his wide receiver, Justin Hyde throw. If he can bring that down during the course of this game, there are going to be many opportunities in the passing game.
Wheaton only had 6 catches in his rookie year a season ago. He's closing in on 40 in this his sophomore year. 3 Free play, it looks like. And they hand it off. Well, we'll see.
Bell, the ball carrier, blocking the play.
Outside. Number 94 defense. 5-yard penalty remains. Third down.
So rather than what, 3rd and 14, that becomes 3rd down and 9.
Ben Roethlisberger doing a great job with the hard count to get Cameron Jordan to jump off sides, give yourself a free play. You wish there was a pass tag to that so that you can possibly, attack downfield. Well, 3rd down here, just take a look and keep an eye on Antonio Brown. He's been his guy. Antonio Brown has been his guy on 3rd down.
Pocket collapses. And Roethlisberger throws incomplete, drag down by Junior Galette.
Antonio Brown being his guy, deciding now to be a clear out route. He had an opportunity outside, but with pressure up the middle for any quarterback, it makes the pocket tough. And you got to find ways to get the ball out of your hands.
This will be a lengthy field goal try for Sean Sweezum, who's hit on 18 out of 20. 2 weeks ago, hit a season-best 53-yarder. And officially, this one from 49. Good snap. And how about that?
How about that curve right there?
Very, very nice. Every now and again, it's nice to have a slice, isn't it?
I'm telling you.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by your next truck, Ford F-150. By Pizza Hut, we're taking pizza where it's never been before. And by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide. Sellout crowd in Pittsburgh. The Steelers trying to keep pace with the Bengals, the Ravens, the Browns. Everybody in this AFC North with 7 wins this year. Breeze back on offense, trailing 3-0. Steelers have had the football, triple the amount of time of the Saints, but it's just a 3-0 Steelers lead. First down for the Saints at the 20. Ingram has really been slowed down the last couple of weeks. He had put together 3 straight 100-yard rushing games. Let's check in downstairs with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Well, the Steelers might be down 1 in their secondary. Bryce McCain went out that last play, kind of pulled up on his right hamstring. They took him to the sideline, medical staff stretching him out, had him run along the sideline. He's currently sitting down with a heating pad. He is listed as questionable.
So the man next up, as they say, would be Antoine Blake, number 41. He's come in on his 2nd down and 6.
Lion.
Breeze gets away, throws incomplete. Greg Kiesel, the initial pressure, had help from Cameron Hayward.
Great job here by the Pittsburgh Steelers running a TE stunt, which is a tackle in whip technique coming inside. Brent Kiesel being able to apply pressure to Drew Brees to force him to try to get the ball out, which ended up, if he would throw a little high and throwing late, could end up being a turnover. Note that Drew Brees, he's 0 for 1 right now on 3rd down and has his lowest QB rating this year, so he's really got to pick that up.
6 of his 11 interceptions have come on 3rd down. And he missed a wide open Kenny Stills down the middle of the field. Took a hit once more by the former Ohio State Buckeye Cameron Hayward.
Again, great job with pressure up the middle. It makes the pocket warm for any quarterback to force him to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And he had a guy wide open. That's one that I think they'll go off on the sideline and probably come up with that same type of play with a different formation to attack him downfield.
So 3 and out. Kicking it away from Antonio Brown. They don't even want to take a chance. And he's out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Breeze feeling the heat. Look inside that AFC North for the Steelers.
Hey,
2 of their
57.
final 5 will be against Cincinnati. They go to the Queen City next weekend, and then the final game of the season will be the Bengals here in Pittsburgh. And that should have been a pick 6 for Patrick Robinson.
You know, this is something that's been bothering this New Orleans Saints football team. Those opportunities right there could give them what they need in order to win these football games. But this has to be a block by the tight end here. If you take a look, you know, I don't know what the tight end was thinking at that particular time, but he's got to come out and block the corner and give Antonio Brown an opportunity to look upfield and make a guy miss. This is just something that they have to get cleaned up quickly because it can become a problem late in the game.
Well, the Saints have not had an interception in the opposition's last 104 passing attempts. Le'Veon Bell for maybe 2. It'll bring up 3rd down again for the Steelers. Roethlisberger off to a very slow start today. His last 2 home games, you may remember, threw 12 touchdowns in 2 games.
Yes. And you talk about a quarterback being on fire. I tell you, you know, this young man throwing for over 400 yards and, you know, just going back and forth. It just seemed like a PlayStation game, the numbers he was putting up. But I tell you, they need to get back on track, and that's being more balanced and being more effective here on 3rd down.
Well, 3rd down, Antonio Brown. Roethlisberger is hurt.
You know, if you take a look at Ben Roethlisberger, this is a great job of just sitting in the pocket and just throwing with the pressure in your face. You know, Ben has been in this league long enough. He understands. Just give his receivers an opportunity to make a big play, and things will happen.
It looked like his hand or his wrist made contact with either the helmet or the shoulder pad of Curtis Lofton in on the blitz.
Keep an eye on, see if they decide to run the football to give Ben a chance to get back together.
They hand it off to Bell, spins out of a tackle, spins out of another, and that'll be a gain of nearly 5 for Le'Veon Bell.
You take a look here, Ben, knowing he's getting pressured, hitting his hand on the wrist of Curtis Lofton, you know, and putting the ball in a great position that Antonio Brown can catch it. Here, he's handing the ball off. Something that we've seen a little bit in warm-ups with Ben doing, handing the ball off with his opposite hand. And if you keep an eye, if you've seen him, he asked for another run play. So this may be another run play here going to the running back.
Lenny. 180. So 180.
Bell trying to be patient, just nowhere to go. For a 3rd down and 5 upcoming, we check in once more back in Los Angeles. A game break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, here's something you literally don't see every day. A block punt by Adam Thielen of the Vikings. He scoops it up, takes it in 30 yards for the score. That's the first time Minnesota has had a block punt for a touchdown since 1986. They're up 14-0 over Carolina. Tom, Donovan, and Carissa.
All right, Kurt, thank you. 3rd down and 5 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger has not thrown a pass
5-7.
since that right hand made contact with Curtis Lofton, and he's not going to pass it here. They don't need to. And Bell for a 1st down to the 29-yard line.
Great job by Todd Haley dialing up another run versus this zone defense, which opened up holes by the offensive line, establishing the line of scrimmage, pulling her to block out Cameron Jordan, doing a great job of giving this running back 2 opportunities to either go outside or inside. But Le'Veon Bell, again, we talked about him, one of the best running backs in the AFC, and he's proven it today.
Over 1,000 yards on the season for Le'Veon Bell. This just his 2nd year after they got him in the 2nd round out of Michigan State last season. A stiff arm to Hawthorne. And picks up close to 5. They still have not thrown it since Ben hit his hand on Lofton.
You know, again, as a quarterback, it's important that you're able to follow through with your throws. Right there, Curtis Lofton did a great job of getting his hand up. And just taking a look here, handing the ball off with his opposite hand, being his left hand, and then ask for another run play. But one thing that I begin to question now with Rob Ryan, you know that the quarterback's hurt and they're running the football. You know, why not blitz? Why not blitz to force them to throw the football and work out in your favor? They're just sitting back in the zone.
Another handoff, and again to Bell. Picks up a yard. It'll bring up another third down.
Bell, the ball carrier.
Well, Bell came in with the second most rushing yards in the league to DeMarco Murray at 951 yards, and now up over 1,000. Look at that, averaging nearly 5 per carry.
You know, and that right there really gives your offense balance. When you're able to run the football, I know so many people look at the yards, but it's more about the attempts. If you're able to get about 30 to 35, maybe 40 rushes a game, now you're not asking your quarterback to throw the ball 40 times.
Well, they roll him out here, and that is the first down. Catch made by the longtime Saint, Lance Moore. What a career he had in New Orleans. They signed him as an undrafted free agent, and he put together some outstanding seasons. That's his first catch today. Gradkowski making sure he doesn't need to maybe get that helmet. Start of the second quarter, Steelers on the move. This will be the 10th play of this drive, which began at their own 27.
White 80! Easy. Alert! Hey, shut up!
And Bell inside the 15, close to the 13-yard line. And, you know, we saw that practice throw that Roethlisberger had with Gradkowski, his backup. That came in between plays before that completion to Moore, and he still doesn't look all that comfortable.
You know, it's going to take some time. He's got to warm that wrist up. You know, it's the follow-through technique that all quarterbacks have to go through. When it gets jammed, it feels like feel a little numbness down your wrist. So for Ben, expect a pass here. I expect him to kind of get back in rhythm with the passing game, because now watch out for this all-out blitz.
He's going to throw it. And nearly snatched away from the defender for a touchdown by Antonio Brown. It looked like another possible interception for Robinson.
You know, again, Patrick Robinson, you have to take advantage of the opportunities. That right there the ball was thrown directly to you. You have to come down with the ball and give an opportunity for your offense to get down and drive. This is something that's been a problem for the New Orleans Saints all throughout the season, not taking advantage of all those opportunities.
You know, that's the way this drive began, you may remember. On the very first play, it should have been a pick six for Patrick Robinson. Steelers perfect on this drive on third down, and broken up by Corey White. Looking at Martavis Bryant, the 6'5" target in the end zone.
You know, one thing you want to do as a quarterback, when you have a tall wide receiver, is you want to give him an opportunity, but he has to come down with that ball. That ball hit him directly in the hands. If he's able to come down with that and get his feet inside of the pylon, that ends up being a touchdown.
Well, you talk about missed opportunities. I mean, where these teams are in their respective divisions, so many little plays over the course of a game can make the difference in that one win and you're in, that one loss and you're out. Squeeze him, bangs it through to make it a 6-0 Pittsburgh lead.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Citizen Echo Drive, powered by light. Any light, never needs a battery. Citizen. And by T-Mobile, changing the game of wireless.
Still taking a look at Ben Roethlisberger over there on the Pittsburgh sideline. Wanted to find out exactly where they should be looking.
They looked all around the wrist. I mean, for Ben Roethlisberger, I think this is one now. It's warmed up. He's looking to get back in rhythm. You know, those two passes show that obviously he has his fire back on the ball. You know, for a quarterback that spins it, and you can definitely tell when either it's bothering him or he's back at 100%. And we've seen that tight spiral back that we used to see with Ben.
Saints will get it out to 20. Well, this coming weekend for the nation's top teams, a must-win game to keep their championship hopes alive. The Pac-12 title game on Friday night, the Big Ten championship game on Saturday, only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Congratulations to our colleague and partner Troy Aikman. Had his jersey retired yesterday at his alma mater, UCLA. His daughter's there with him. What a great moment for the Aikman clan. Congratulations. Ingram, a good carry on first down, close to 6.
That's been something that, Sean Payton talked about, of how impressed he was with Mark Ingram coming in. Over the past couple of years, he's been injured. He's healthy this year. He suffered some injury early in the year, but he's bounced back, and he's been doing a great job of carrying the football. There's 6 yards on that carry. Now you get a second and medium, get you in better position to throw maybe a quick slant, maybe a quick hitch here.
Not a catch for Graham in the early going. Threads the needle, and that is good enough for a first down up to the 31-yard line. Catch by Travaris Cadet.
If you just take a look here, Jimmy Graham obviously is a guy you got to focus in on. You're going to find your best cover linebacker to cover him, maybe even your best corner. Talking to Ike Taylor, that was one that he elaborated on yesterday, of being that guy that may follow Jimmy Graham around.
Play action. Beautifully defended in the secondary by the linebacker Sean Spence, who starts in place of the rookie Ryan Shazier. Let's check in with Joel Klatt back in L.A.
All right, Tom, we go to Tampa Bay. Doug Martin from 7 yards out. He takes it in, and Tampa Bay's up 10-0 on the Bucs. Remember, Cincinnati, half-game lead over the rest of the AFC North. Tampa trying to keep pace with New Orleans.
It's a third straight road game for the Bengals. They're trying to make it 3 straight road wins, but down 10-0 early on, and this is Ingram. Broke a tackle in the backfield, but it's dragged down right at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10 for the Saints.
Again, when you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, it's about pressure. Dick LeBeau is known for that over the last decade and more. And so when you look at the old band coming back, Rick Kiesel there, getting to the legs of Mark Ingram, James Harrison, Ike Taylor, all these guys are now starting to flow to show these young guys we need to get back to physical football.
Nowhere near the first down mark on the catch by Pierre Thomas. Now that's a very odd route or a place to go nowhere near.
Well, when you keep your eyes up as a quarterback, and Drew Brees, all his guys were covered. They did a great job in the secondary. You just have to take what the defense gives you. It's nothing wrong with punting, because now you get on the opposite side of the 50 and you can push them back and give them a long field to drive. And so I think Sean Payton and Drew Brees will talk about that on the sideline, but that was a great job by Drew.
42 total yards thus far, and only 2 first downs for the Saints. Antonio Brown from the 14. And a good return up to the 25. Well, Mike Tomlin's defense has given up a pile of points so far this year, but working on a shutout here at home against the Saints. The plan was not for the Steelers to bring back a lot of the aging veterans on that defense.
Blue 80.
So they brought in Kiesel near the end of training camp. They re-signed James Harrison 4 weeks into the year. First catch by the tight end Heath Miller, having another outstanding season. And that's a short gain of 2 on first down.
You talk about bringing the band back. How about the old guys that are still here? Heath Miller, 10 years since he was drafted from Virginia. 6'5", 256. He suffered some injury early in his career, but he's been a guy that has made his mark here with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers all-time leader at the tight end position in receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns.
Hey, Mike 50. Blue 20. Blue 20.
Bell, a second down carry. Boy, he's so patient. Just waits for that little bit of daylight and slithers through up to the 32. It'll bring up third down.
He reminds me so much of an Edgerrin James, and that was something that Edgerrin James and Marshall Faulk were known for, just the patience of allowing his offensive linemen to get on their blocks, cover up, and now open up a hole for him. You know, this young man has definitely matured in this offense, and everyone is impressed with him.
I'm surprised you said something nice about Marshall Faulk. He had you out for the league MVP one year, if I remember right.
Well, you know, hey, sometimes it goes to the best man.
Once more, just a little high off the fingertips of Bell. He is not only a weapon running the ball, but out of the backfield, he has 57 receptions.
You know, he had a matchup one-on-one versus the linebacker David Hawthorne there. Just bring it down a little bit, give him an opportunity to catch and turn upfield. He might have made a miss, and it could have been a big-time play.
First 3 and out for the Saints defense today, and only the 15th all year long for them. Wing puts a left foot on it. Saunders will let it bounce and run far away from it. At the 20 with 9:47. Kiesel's been growing that beard for about 4.5 years now. That's a good look.
The power of the beard.
Today's game is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with Kay.
Saints defense has done a nice job today. They've given up 138 yards, but only 6 points. But the offense has done virtually nothing. And that continues on a first down carry.
You know, I think it's something to be said about this Pittsburgh Steelers defensive line. They're establishing the line of scrimmage. They're pushing the offensive line from the New Orleans Saints back 2 yards, and which leads that running game to really begin to falter.
Now the hurry-up offense has given the Steelers some trouble over the last couple of years. Cleveland gave them fits earlier this season when they went in hurry-up mode. And a catch by Stills, and that's very close to a first down. It looks like he got there to the 32.
You know, one thing you'll see here is when you get to a hurry-up offense, you have to show your hand as a defense because you're afraid of the quick snap. They do go right into the zone defense with off coverage on the outside. He does a great job of taking advantage of the off coverage in the slot. Kenny Stills doing a good job of collecting the ball and getting the first down. So keep an eye on New Orleans doing that again throughout this game.
Well, they brought in an entirely new personnel package on first down, so they huddled up. Play action, and Breeze in trouble. Just throws it away.
With max protection there, you had Ike Taylor on top of Jimmy Graham. Marcus Colson taking the top off of coverage. Great job in the coverage from the Pittsburgh Steelers, which led to Drew Brees throwing the ball out of bounds.
And once more, 4 in, 4 out, and they huddle up. Second down and 10. First catch of the day by Marcus Colston. Well, what a career Colston has had. He was the 252nd player selected in the 2006 draft, and he is the Saints' all-time leader in virtually every receiving category.
You know, for a guy that's about 6'4", continue to be a staple for them in this offense. They bring in Jimmy Graham. They bring in a lot of these smaller wide receivers to work the inside. They move him not only from the outside, but they bring him inside as well. So they're over 3 right now on third down.
They're going to try it out by running the ball. They pitch it to Pierre Thomas. He leapfrogs a defender and picks up the first down into Steeler territory. At the 47-yard line, Thomas, another guy who's been there and been so reliable, so effective as a runner and as a receiver.
You know, back on the backside, we talked about Ike Taylor. We talked about, you know, a lot of their linebackers. Timmons being the guys that's going to cover Jimmy Graham. They'll probably double team him if he's inside. But going the opposite way gave an opportunity for them to get those big yards.
Broke through He's inside the 30, run out of bounds at the 27-yard line. And a penalty flag comes in late. First time the Saints have ventured into Steeler territory. Mitchell has been a solid pickup, signing as a free agent from Carolina, but from time to time he will make some mental mistakes and get penalized for them. We'll see if this one's on him.
There's no foul in the play for a late hit out of bounds. Result of the play is a first down.
You know, take a look here. They're going to the weak side of this defense and the weak side of the formation, which gives Mark Ingram an opportunity to get inside versus with his fullback leading the way. But this guy's been doing a great job for them all season of being able to pick up those yards in a rushing game.
It's a gain of 20. They get it right back to him in another big run for Ingram. 12 yards to the Steeler 15-yard line, and now the Saints are banging on the door with a chance to take the lead.
You know, again, we talked about this with Drew Brees. Getting in the red area, they have to score touchdowns. Too many times they've given up with just field goals. And when you're playing a team like Pittsburgh, who we've seen at home, be able to find ways to get in the end zone and score a bunch of points, you want to be able to go back and forth with them. So take a look here. I mean, Jimmy Graham hasn't been in this passing game yet. This is the time you want to be able to utilize his size.
And look who's wide open in the end zone. And it is a touchdown to Benjamin Watson, the backup to Graham. And they're a point after away from a 1-point lead. So 3 straight running plays for 45 yards. And then this.
You know, when you're going with the 2 tight end set here, he really had both of them. But, you know, when you have a safety that kind of would draw to Jimmy Graham, that will leave Ben Watson wide open on the outside. Great job of catching the ball and getting his feet in to secure that touchdown.
Brees his 23rd touchdown of the season, 32 games in a row. Of course, he holds the NFL record, 54 straight. Point after good. So don't look now. But after dominating the Saints through the opening quarter, New Orleans puts together a drive primarily on the ground, and they cap it off with a touchdown pass to Watson. Well, you talk about a young man you can look up to on the field and off the field. It would be Benjamin Watson. Spent all those years in Cleveland. You didn't hear a lot about him, but the more you read about him, you know, not only what he does on the field, but off the field, he has just been a guy that's easy to root for.
Yeah. You know, being in New England, Cleveland, and then coming here, it was one in which I think he was brought in as a mentor to a guy like Jimmy Graham and the rest of these tight ends. You know, he shows them how to prepare, how to be a professional, how to prepare yourself each and every week out there on the football field, and a way to reward him. How about that, of just going and getting into the end zone? So that's what makes it exciting to see him getting a touchdown catch.
The wind has really picked up down on the field, and so they're going to hold the kickoff. And it looks like Wheaton will have a chance to bring it out from the 2-yard line. And a good return by Wheaton. Still on his feet across the 40. And run out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
41-yard return there by Marcus Wheaton, doing a great job of setting up his blocks, now finding the hole and just exploding through the hole. You wish that they could have put a body on number 91, which would probably ended up being more of a touchdown or possibly more of a big yard gain. But 41 yards there now gets this offense in great field position.
Yeah, they just put Wheaton back there 2 weeks ago. They've been looking for somebody to give him a little more spark in the return game. Kick return game. First down, Bell followed up at the line of scrimmage. That'll be a gain of 2. Well, Mr. McNabb, it is nice to get you out of that studio. I mean, you know, get you out here and start calling some ball games. And, you know, so far, a lot of the things you wondered about, we talked about at the very beginning. Could the Saints do a little more on third down? They've been pretty good on defense today so far.
They have, and the consistency was something that I talked about in the beginning. And what I'm seeing right now, they're applying pressure to Ben Roethlisberger. He's ineffective, 5 of 14 passing the ball. And if they continue to get pressure up the middle to force Ben to get off his spot, they got a better chance.
Wide open is Miller, and he is chopped down by Robinson. A first down to the New Orleans 42-yard line.
You know, great play action fake here. We've seen him run this in practice, and being able to run a pop pass here to Heath Miller. Their long-lasting tight end's been there over the decade, and he's continued to make big plays after big plays just like that throughout his career.
Well, among all active tight ends, only Antonio Gates and Jason Witten have more receptions and more receiving yards than Heath Miller.
Inside, y'all.
Good protection. And looking down the field, and it is intercepted by Vaccaro. First target of Darius Hayward-Bay into double coverage. And after missing a couple of chances for interceptions, the Saints get one here.
You know, here Ben just trying to be aggressive and force the ball to Darius Hayward-Bay. Bad decision on his part, throwing it right there for Kenny Vaccaro to come up with the turnover. It's a good thing for the New Orleans Saints because we talked about how they missed out on those opportunities. Kenny being able to bring the ball down and secure the interception, and a bad thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a drive killer right there. For a quarterback, it's good to be aggressive, but you got to be smart with the ball.
Well, for Roethlisberger here at home, his first interception in almost 200 attempts. On the flip side, for the Saints, that is their first interception in their opponent's last 112 passes. So right back on the ground. That's what got them going their last drive, which led to the go-ahead touchdown, and that's a gain of 4 on first down to Ingram.
We're seeing something different here from the New Orleans Saints. I mean, they're being aggressive in the run game. You know, they've been an effective passing team that can continue to spread the ball around and dissect you in many ways. What Sean Payton understands, in order for us to do a lot of play action, to get the ball downfield to 15 to 20-yard gains, we got to run the football, and they're doing a great job there with Mark Ingram. 2nd and 5, and the Steelers read that screen beautifully. Again, Hayward was there.
Polamalu was there. That didn't fool anybody.
3rd down right now. They're one for 4, and you know, this is the one that you want to continue to get the drive. You just created a turnover from Pittsburgh. The momentum's on your side. So just take a look here. This might be the time. Jimmy Graham has no catches right now. You know, take a look here. They may go to his side to utilize his size.
Well, they have Will Allen locked up with him. That's where Breeze was looking. What a hit delivered by Polamalu, and he is a one down as Toon springs back to his feet. For Polamalu, this is his first game back in the last 3 weeks. He's been out with a wounded knee.
You know, again, we talked about this is the time to utilize Jimmy Graham. He kept his eyes here for Jimmy Graham. Great job on the coverage there on Allen. You know, but able to go in through his progression and allowing Toon to make that big play for him to move the chains.
Polamalu, a history of concussions. In fact, his wife was quoted in the local papers just this morning as saying she wishes he would hang him up. Maybe a gain of a yard. You know, Donovan, you look back on your career.
Yeah.
And what was your history? You know, you look back on it now on concussions.
Never suffered a concussion throughout my 13-year career. Yes, you know, fortunately for me, I've had ankles, at the knee, the sports hernia, but no concussion. So thank God for that. I mean, you know, you see some of these guys go down week after week with concussions. You know, you have to think about how long do you really want to do this.
Ingram on 2nd down, bottled up, maybe a yard. So 3rd down and long coming up for New Orleans. Wind our way down to 2.5 to go in the first half. And Polamalu, it looks like, will stay on the sideline for this 3rd down. Will Allen, in his 11th year, has started the last couple of weeks in place of Polamalu, and Allen is having a really good year.
He's having a really good year, and something to be said, you know, when guys go down, you know, everyone's opportunity kind of elevates, and they took full advantage of it. You know, the list went on of all the corners and defensive tackles, and now when guys get back healthy, they're there.
Looking down the field, and the catch is made by Kenny Stills at the 20-yard line. He beat the veteran William Gay. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. They hit their first big one of the day, 44 yards. Follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to iTunes.com/NFL. With Donovan McNabb and Carissa Thompson, Tom Brenneman, our entire Fox crew in Pittsburgh. Steelers, a pair of field goals early, dominated the first quarter and a half. But ever since then, it's been all about the Saints. Put together a touchdown drive the last time they had it after just 2 first downs through the first quarter and a half. And they've been doing it by running the football.
10 rushes for 65 yards so far for Mark Ingram, being effective in this offense, which leads to play action passes like we've seen with Kenny Steele going downfield. Great job by Sean Payton so far, just dialing up the run and really forcing this defense to try to create a big play.
2nd and 1, they'll run it. And that's a first down. 1st and goal inside the 5 for Ingram. You know, this is not your Steelers, your father's Steelers, if you will. This is a Pittsburgh scoring team averaging 26 a game, 2nd highest in team history. But they are giving up 24 points per game, which is the most since 1988.
You know, while I played, the Pittsburgh Steelers were all about defense. Dick LeBeau just pressure, and he had the defensive line to be able to do that if he decided to sit back in the zone. Don't know if we can say that right now, the way that Saints are running the football.
Malu back in there, and the catch is made, and it is a touchdown to the fullback, Eric Loring. That is his first touchdown this season. 2nd touchdown throw by Breeze, all set up by the interception in the end zone by Vaccaro.
You know, here we're just running a play action pass, being able to get the fullback out in the flat, get the tight end on a corner route. Great job of just going north and south to secure for the touchdown.
Loring has played a little bit of everything. He's played defensive end going back to college. They moved him to tight end. They've played him in a lot of fullback situation this year. Backup 3rd tight end at times. And now the point after is good. And this crowd is stunned. Steelers had the ball. They were on the move. The interception by Vaccaro. They hit the big pass to Stills, setting up the touchdown. 36 seconds remain until halftime, and after a very, very sluggish start, it has not taken Breeze and the Saints long to crank it up in a 14-6 lead.
You know, you look at the New Orleans Saints, and that was the big question on defense, if they will be able to create any turnovers and get off on 3rd down. They've been very effective thus far in this first half versus this Pittsburgh Steelers struggling offense. But it's something to be said about how they're playing on offense. Sustaining drives. It was a struggle early on. They were 1 for 4 on 3rd down. You know, it was the big play to the running back to give him an opportunity to pick up that first. And from then on, it's been nothing but positive yards for him.
Wheaton had the big return to set up the last drive. No chance for a return here. All right, how about it, Kurt Menefee? Coming up at halftime.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Andy Dalton and the Bengals try to hold on to the top spot in the AFC North. The Chargers and Ravens in a battle for playoff position in Baltimore. And the Raiders play the Rams. And while those aren't playoff teams, it is Howie's favorite game of the day. Highlights and more at half.
Well, of course it is Howie's favorite game of the day. His beloved Raiders, but now he has one of his 2 sons playing, of course, for the Rams.
Yeah, it's kind of, I would say, fortunate for the family, but, you know, he's going both sides now, just being able to watch.
And I say 2 sons in the NFL. Roethlisberger fires down the middle of the field to Miller. And that is a first down up to the 43-yard line. Steelers have all 3 timeouts, and they will take one here. You know, in our hotel, we saw a lot of familiar faces walking around. The reunion of the 1974 Pittsburgh Steelers. They had some of their all-time greats here. John Stallworth, Mean Joe Green, his number retired already this year.
Mel Blount.
The only two of the big legendary names that were not here. Terry, of course, is working back in Los Angeles, and Jack Lambert not here. They had 9 Hall of Famers on that team, winning Super Bowl 9. A little trivia question here in a minute about that Super Bowl. Look out. Incomplete. Excellent coverage by Keenan Lewis, the former Steeler, on Marcus Wheaton.
Again, for a quarterback, you drop back 5 steps, give your receiver an opportunity to compete for football, but you got to put it in a position where the receiver can come and go up and go get it. There he threw it a little bit too far inside. Keenan Lewis doing a great job of getting his eyes back so that the pass interference won't be called.
So 24 seconds remain until halftime. The play clock down to 5. Antonio Brown. And they're very close to field goal range, but still plenty of time with 2 timeouts left.
You know, again, this is the big question for the New Orleans Saints. If you're going to play that far off, then you're allowing the receiver to get easy catches to get upfield. Great job by Ben Roethlisberger. Look for them to do something like that again, toward the sideline, so the receiver can catch and get out of bounds, stop the clock, and possibly take a shot in the end zone.
18 seconds remain.
Blue 20. Blue 27.
Oh, he missed a wide open Miller inside the 20. Did Roethlisberger there, and he's thrown a number of passes just a little bit high today.
You know, if you just take a look at Ben's footwork there, release was high, but most importantly, his base. You know, his base was off, and that was led to a high pass. But there he had a shot to take, get Antonio Brown for the post. So expect him to do something here to get Antonio Brown the ball in his hands to try to electrify the crowd a little bit.
Well, they have the 2 timeouts after the incompletion, stopping the clock at 14 seconds. Well, that's a tough throw right there. Trying to drop it in between Robinson and White to Antonio Brown. It's incomplete. 3rd down.
You know, Ben Roethlisberger, he predetermined he was going to go to Antonio Brown here. He's got to be careful, with the corner as well as the safety being there. You don't want to lead your receiver into a headache, and there it could have been a bad collision.
Roethlisberger, the interception. They had the first couple of drives where they had to settle for field goals. And he's missed some open targets. And another throw is high and nearly intercepted off the deflection by Lofton.
Well, sometimes as a quarterback, when you're not in rhythm, you begin to force a lot of balls. You start aiming, in which you start aiming, balls start getting high, balls start going low. We've all been in that position. Ben's just got to kind of refocus again to get himself back on track. Come back in the second half, give a whole different performance, and this team will be back on track.
Well, they're going for it on 4th down rather than attempting what would be a 54-yard field goal try. Sweezum is hit from 53 just 2 weeks ago. And now the Saints want timeout. Well, after the Saints took a timeout, Mike Tomlin has changed his mind. He's going to send out his field goal kicker, Sean Sweezum. The holder is Brad Wing. Snapper is Greg Warren. And they will try a 54-yard field goal attempt. 53 yards for Sweezum in that loss to the Jets this season long. And it is no good. That's the way the first half will end. Low snap and just not enough on it. Saints on the road. Losers of 3 in a row in front 14-6. We go to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee. Set to begin the third quarter. Saints will get the football to begin the second half with a 14-6 lead. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. And after a very quiet start, as you pointed out, Donovan McNabb, a very effective run game of the Saints, opening up the passing game for Drew Brees.
Something that's rare for the New Orleans Saints, something we haven't seen so effective, and that's the run game being balanced with the passing game. Drew Brees, being in the league now for a while, understands how can you take pressure off of me, and that's by Mark Ingram picking up big yards. 2 touchdowns today, in the Barrett area of Ben Watson and also lowering their fullback. But you also got to give credit to their defense. I talked about in the beginning, I thought they needed to apply pressure, get off on third down, create turnovers, and they've done that. Now they need to do it in the second half to secure the win.
Steelers' first 3 drives went 38, 34, and 60, 2 of them ending on field goals. But their last 3 end in a 3-and-out, an interception, and then a missed 54-yard field goal try, the final play of the first half. The best game on defense the Saints have played in a long time, but a full half to go. Cadet out of his own end zone. And up to the 25. Let's check in downstairs with Carissa Thompson.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Mike Tomlin not too happy, as you can imagine, headed into the locker room. I asked, what he can do to sort of temper that momentum that the Saints had. He goes, I don't care what they're doing. We cannot leave the points on the field that we've been doing. We got to convert. We know what we need to do. Conversely, for Sean Payton, as you guys mentioned, they only had 2 first downs through the first quarter and a half. Obviously got it going with that run game. He goes on the road. We have got to stick with that. That set up the play action. Biggest message for him, finish. It's been a thing all year long. They've got to do, guys.
Well, they're the 8th best rushing team in the NFL so far this year. And they give it to Ingram on first down, tripped up by Hayward, a gain of 2.
Pittsburgh's going to have to find a way to establish the line of scrimmage, continue to get pushed, clog up the holes a little bit to force Mark Ingram to start going east and west instead of north and south. But I'm interested to see now of this passing offense from the New Orleans Saints. Jimmy Graham has not received a catch yet. So if they get him involved in this offense, it opens up more for everyone else.
And tight ends had carved up this Steeler defense this entire year. Catch made by Colston up to the 33-yard line to bring up third down and short. When you're in the huddle, do guys come back and do you sense frustration at all?
Are you calling them divas, Tom? Now, hey, look,
I would do that.
These receivers, they get frustrated. They'll come back and say, hey, I got him, just give me an opportunity. Well, as a quarterback, we're not going to force the ball, because when you force the ball, it creates turnovers. Now, I'm sure the defense, like Ike Taylor and most of these veterans, are starting to talk to Jimmy, and Jimmy's starting to get frustrated. But he's got to look back and understand what the team's doing.
Blown dead before it ever started.
Timeout. Pittsburgh. First team timeout. A 30-second timeout.
So on a third down to begin this second half, Steelers are spending a timeout. Donovan, it doesn't matter whether you're playing in that NFC South where every team has 7 losses we brought up, or the AFC North where every team has 7 wins. Both these teams are fighting to get in the playoffs. Right. They're very, very much in it. So every game the rest of the way is a big one.
Every game's important. And I know everyone hears that it's like a cliche. But when you look at the Saints, if they continue to win, they will win their division. I think the same goes for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've got the Baltimore Ravens, and they've also had the Cleveland Browns, who are playing well right now. So every game is important. And then when you go into the playoffs, you want to make sure you're playing at that high level.
Saints will get another crack at both Carolina and Atlanta. Steelers have 2 games against the Bengals. And it's incomplete on third down. That ball may have been tipped. It looked like it was tipped. Well short of the intended receiver.
He's got to find the lane. He had one there, but great job there by Hayward of being able to get his arm up, which almost could have led to another first down. This offense has struggled on third down in this game. Really, both sides of the ball have struggled. It's going to come down to who can convert more third downs and eliminate turnovers.
Hayward's been all over the field. He is the one member of the Steelers defense that has showed up today. That one blown dead before the punt.
We will re-kick the ball as the officials weren't in position to officiate the play. Still 4th down.
That might be the first I've ever heard of that. You know, for a lot of these referees, it's important they get in position. But, you know, if you're not in position, then why put the ball down? You put the ball down as an offense, a special teams, a defense, we're ready to go. So that's just a bad play call, or I should say bad assessment by the referees.
It looked like Antonio Brown had a little bit of room to return that. They're coming after this one. They just missed getting there. And Brown again will have a chance to bring it back. Fields at the 20. Covered beautifully by the Saints. Only a 2-yard return by Antonio Brown.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Dodge Dart. Don't touch it. By Burger King. Mix and match 2 large premium sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King. And by Walmart. This Cyber Monday, win bigger with deals unlocked throughout the day on walmart.com.
Going to look inside the Western PA Sports Museum, celebrating the rich tradition of sports here in this region. And it's all about football on Sundays here. First down, play beyond Bell, a couple of yards. Now you continue to ask the question. After Ben Roethlisberger followed through and made contact with Curtis Walton, injuring his right hand, is he still being affected by that?
Well, I think he is being effective, but you know, when you get an injury like that, you get out of rhythm and you begin to lose your base, and that being your lower body. And for Ben, he started throwing the ball all upper body. And as a quarterback, you got to get back into rhythm in order for this team to be effective. And he's in rhythm, he'll be right where they need to be.
Good start here. Miller up to the 35, and that is a first down.
Great play call by Todd Haley, and that's ways of getting your quarterback in rhythm. Easy throws, hit your tight ends, hit your receivers at 6 yards. Now that confidence continues to rise, where offensive lines start to jump off on their defender and receivers get more push, so that the throws are a lot easier.
50-50.
Yeah.
Blue 80.
Well, Carissa Thompson again checking with the medical staff of the Steelers, and they say that Roethlisberger is okay. That one batted in the air and intercepted by Cameron Jordan. So here the Saints come into Pittsburgh having not intercepted a pass in over 100 attempts, and they have 2 of them the last 3 Steeler possessions.
You know, you take a look here. Great job here by Cameron Jordan, being able to come off field, and not only that, but get your hands up. You got to get your hands up to at least give your secondary a chance. That was the big question. Talking to Sean Payton, basically what he said was, as a defensive line, we need to get more pressure on the opposing quarterback because our secondary has been in trouble because they have been covering for over 4 seconds.
Jordan's first career interception, and they give it to Ingram. And he's down to the 11-yard line. What a turnaround by this Saints defense. I mean, they were really kicked around these last couple of weeks, especially in the run game against Jeremy Hill and the Bengals 2 weeks ago, Forsett and the Ravens last week on Monday night.
Right.
And they have come to play here to Pittsburgh, a team that's been averaging 35 a game at home. That's Tune. Slips a tackle, and he is into the end zone. A touchdown broke away from Ike Taylor.
Again, when you play soft on the outside, you know, as a quarterback, you want to take what the defense gives you. Just a 3-step drop or a 6-yard route, that's just a great job on Tune's part of breaking away from Ike Taylor and then forcing himself into the end zone. Big question if he got in there. You know, Mike Tomlin, I'm sure, is looking at that right now. If he landed at the 1 with his elbow, they may call this one back.
Well, they're taking a look at it as they do every scoring play and every change of possession.
We will review the previous play.
If it stands for Tune, it would be his first career touchdown. Touchdown reception under review.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It's touchdown.
So we were talking with Mike Pereira during the commercial break and a timeout. Unless there's definitive evidence that some part of that ball did not break the plane before the elbow went down, they're not going to overturn it.
You know, it's shocking because you see the elbow go down first, which is a bang-bang deal, and which is tough, you know, and only on instant replay will you see that. But I thought they would have reversed it, but understanding why they kept it as a touchdown because it wasn't definitive. But, you know, great job there with Mike Pereira, always doing an excellent job.
Nick Toon, they had high expectations for this young man when he came out of Wisconsin. Of course, his daddy was some kind of football player, the great Al Toon for many years with the New York Jets. Inactive for all but 2 games. Today his 3rd game of the year. And in 11 games in his career, only 7 catches.
You know, you see him start to emerge a little bit in this offense. You know, just a couple weeks ago, he started to pick it up. He and Kenny Stills both. But there's a comfort level with Drew Brees and Nick Toon.
Point after is good. It started with a tip ball, the interception by Jordan. Roethlisberger and the Steelers looking for answers. We talked about the Saints do not have an interception on defense in 112 passing attempts. That carried into this game today. And now all of a sudden they've intercepted Roethlisberger twice in his last 8 attempts. 2 touchdowns off 2 takeaways. And a 21-6 lead. Who saw this coming?
Not me. I tell you, when you think of the Saints, you always think on the road that they struggle. Well, today, you know, they're struggling on 3rd down, but they're still capitalizing on the opportunities. And that's the tribute of them just continue to work at it, and we'll see what happens. But Pittsburgh has had so many chances. They just have to take advantage here.
Marcus Wheaton out of his end zone had a big 41-yard return earlier in the game. Not this time. Dropped
on the return
at the 16 by Ronald Powell. Well, we have nearly an entire half to go. 21-6. The numbers on Roethlisberger are not good. I mean, this is a guy, his last 2 home games set an NFL record, throwing 12 touchdowns over the 2 games.
Yeah. And then he saw the brother of Rob Ryan. Then he ran into Rex Ryan in New York with the Jets. And was held to just 1 touchdown. You know, just talking to Ben about that, playing, you know, Rex Ryan, now playing Rob. They're very similar. You want to be able to get them in long cadence so you can show their hand and see what blitzes they're doing to make it easier on the offense. But he's got to take advantage of these opportunities here.
Le'Veon Bell, stiff arm on Hawthorne. Able to buy a couple of extra yards, but not much. Run out of bounds. Well, pretty good gain of the 20, a gain of almost 4.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
I think this is something now you look at the way that they've been playing. You got to find a way to kind of, you know, boost a little energy into this offense. Why not go no huddle here? You know, go no huddle, get Ben again back in command where he's spreading the ball around, hitting the intermediate passes with his receivers, and the rhythm is there. Utilize the run game with Le'Veon Bell to set up that play action downfield.
Blue 80. Blue shot.
Dumps it off to Bell out of the backfield, and that is a 1st down up to the 35-yard line. Tried to pull the trigger once, did Big Ben.
You know, he took a look downfield, and Antonio Brown decided to check it down to Le'Veon Bell, which is a great option. It's been a big option for him this year. Whenever you have man versus Le'Veon Bell, it works out in your favor. This young man has continued to improve, and it's shown not only can he run the football, but he also is a former receiver out of the backfield.
Well, Bell goes to the sideline. He just set an all-time Pittsburgh record for receiving yards by a running back in a season. And the rookie Dree Archer is in there. They put it in the hands of Miller, and that is a gain of 9 on 1st down.
Seeing a different type of offense here. You start out by running the football with Le'Veon Bell. You want to take a shot downfield to Antonio Brown, check it back down to Le'Veon Bell in the passing game. And who else do you go to keep things flowing? Your security blanket. get it to Heath Miller, and give him an opportunity to move on. Now you're back into that rhythm that we've seen over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, we got 50.
Blue 80. Blue
Archer, the rookie out of Kent State. And he is met at the line of scrimmage and denied first down yardage by Hawthorne. I would imagine we'll see Bell right back in there, and yep, here he comes along with Johnson and an extra tight end in Spade on 3rd down and 1. Boy, you just get the feeling, granted 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, but the Steelers really need this first down.
Yeah, they really do. And again, from where they started and the rhythm that we've seen, you know, this is one in which you think, okay, now we're just going to run the football, pound it, get the first down. But week after week, we're starting to see them pass the ball now on 3rd and short.
And the Saints want a timeout.
Timeout, New Orleans.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Sprint.
Talked about Roethlisberger the last 2 times on the home turf. Beyond belief. Very different game here today. 3rd down and a yard, and a second effort may have gotten the job done. May have gotten it done by Bell.
Excellent piece of running right there by Le'Veon Bell. They went with the all-out blitz, bringing everyone up.
Oh, you saw that spot.
Yeah, bad spot right there.
I mean, that is right at the 45-yard line. And they're saying first down.
Great job by Le'Veon Bell. It's just putting his head down and driving his legs to pick up those extra yards. They had unblocked defenders in there to make the tackle, but just not able to bring them down.
50-50.
No.
Alert, alert.
Alert.
Black, black,
Blue. Brown pimple. Alert. Set up.
Pitch it to Bell. And he's up to midfield. You heard several players, not only the quarterback, say alert, alert, alert. What might that mean? I know you don't run their offense, Donovan, but what does that mean?
Most of the time when you hear quarterbacks call an alert, if they have a 4 weak or 4 strong, if you're running the football to the strong side and you know that you can't block the 4th defender, you want to now bring it over to the left side, or the weak side, you may call it from the formation. So right now you hear him calling 50 being the Mike linebacker. It starts there, and if you feel like you're getting blitz somewhere else, they change the play.
Look at the nimble Roethlisberger, who says he's getting too old to move around. Pretty nifty footwork right there.
You know what, Ben Roethlisberger, coming into this season, talking to him just yesterday, said he finally worked out with a trainer for the first time in his career. He found out when you get older, you need to change some things up. Guy with a nutritionalist, start to work a little bit more on his footwork and obviously his balance, and you're starting to see it a little bit. Now I'm just wondering when he'll be able to utilize it a little bit more, because now that puts more pressure on the defense knowing that he'll be able to do that.
Tough throw to make right there. Incomplete. Lofton in coverage. We check in with Joel Klatt back in Los Angeles.
Tom, we go to Tampa Bay. Andy Dalton down 10-7. Finds A.J. Green. Beautiful catch in the end zone. 14-10 Bengals. First lead of the day. They're looking to stay on top in the AFC North. Back to Pittsburgh. Tom, Donovan, and Carissa.
Tell you one thing about Andy Dalton, he will make some Bengal fans crazy. There's no doubt about that. But 3 years in the league as a starter, 3 years in a row to the playoffs.
His numbers rank amongst the best that have done it. So keep an eye on him.
Oh, we are. There's a catch made by Miller, and that's good enough for a first down to the 30. And you can rest assured, everybody around this town is keeping an eye on Andy Dalton, too, because those two teams will collide next week.
Absolutely, and they're also paying attention probably about that San Diego-Baltimore game, just to keep an eye on that as well.
And Cleveland-Buffalo.
And Cleveland. So I just think for the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point, you got to take care of what's there for you. And the New Orleans Saints are here right in front of them. If they continue to drive and finish this off with a touchdown, it's going to do wonders for this football team.
10th play of the drive. And they find Bell out of the backfield. He beat Hawthorne in coverage, and that's the first down to the 18-yard line.
You talk about how New Orleans has struggled over the last couple of weeks, covering tight ends, covering running backs. And for a guy like Le'Veon Bell, when you look up and see Hawthorne covering one-on-one versus your running back, Le'Veon Bell, you have to take full advantage of it. Just in this drive alone, Le'Veon Bell's caught a couple passes. Heath Miller's caught a couple passes. The receivers really haven't been involved in this drive.
No.
So you have to continue to attack it. So now when you get the soft coverage on the outside, you can utilize your receivers.
Play number 11 on this drive for the Steelers. Pump fake. And he had an open Heath Miller and missed him. He had gotten behind both Vaccaro and Lofton in the back of the end zone.
If you take a look here, great route running by Heath Miller. Just kind of stumbled a little bit. Would have ended up being a touchdown. But again, the linebacking crew from the New Orleans Saints. You talk about Hawthorne. You talk about Lofton. Those are the guys you got to attack. And just in this drive alone, I mentioned it last play. That's the weak spot of that defense, right down the middle. With Jarius Byrd being out at the safety position, you got to continue to attack it.
And then they lost Raphael Bush, his replacement. And they've got Pierre Warren, his second straight start. And right there down the middle. And Warren trying to strip it out of there, but Antonio Brown. A flag is down on the play. Brown down to the 3, and we wait on the penalty.
Looks like it may be against New Orleans somewhere in the secondary.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 29, defense. The penalty is declined, result of the play. First down.
Great job. When you get a cover 2 look right here, the middle of the field is where you want to attack. I talked about their safeties, and their safeties have not been effective in this game. And why not go to your security blanket, which is Antonio Brown, the best wide receiver, arguably, probably, in the NFL at this particular point. You look at his numbers and the way he and Ben have been playing, you have to put him amongst the top 2.
180!
12 men on the field. Defense prior to the snap. Half the distance to the goal remains first down.
So it goes from just outside the 1 to inside the 1. And words back and forth, it appears. Sean Payton wanting to know from Ryan what's going on.
Yeah, I think everybody's trying to know what's going on. Yeah, I think this has been ongoing for weeks for these two. You look at this defense messing up, offense not doing well. They need to run the football here.
Bell will find the end zone.
That's just utilizing speed around that corner. No hole opened up, being able to utilize your speed, getting around that corner, and a great job diving. You take a look here, fullback coming to lead the hole, no hole wide open. Just take what you get. Just utilize your speed, get to the pylon, beat the defender there, which ended up being a big-time touchdown for him.
That's only the 3rd rushing touchdown by Bell. In fact, until he scored a rushing touchdown in the win against Tennessee late in the game, that was the Steelers' first rushing score in 31 quarters. But they get it here to get right back in it. Roethlisberger mighty good on that drive. 21-13. Our aerial coverage today provided by Nationwide. First touchdown scoring drive of the game for the home team. 13 plays, 83 yards. Roethlisberger hitting on 5 of 7 for 65 of the 83. Cadet a yard out of his end zone. And out across the 20. Penalty flag comes in late.
During the return, holding. Number 35 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. The first down.
First time this crowd in Pittsburgh has come to life after the Steelers score a touchdown. And the Saints backed up after the penalty on first down from the 11. Drop it off to Ingram out of the backfield, and he is stood up by Jason Worlds. No gain. Maybe a loss of a yard.
You know, you look at this defense and, you know, Drew Brees having an opportunity to spread the ball around, haven't been so effective when it comes to third down performance. But first and second down, you got to be impressed with running the football and dinking and dunking to these receivers and also to the running backs to get it in somewhat manageable third down situations.
Well, Graham is standing on the sideline. He does not have a catch today. In fact, they have not even thrown to Graham. Steelers have really mixed it up in coverage on him today. And what they've lost in Graham, they've made up for in Kenny Stills.
You know, if you take a look at this route, he had Kenny Stills as well as Toon wide open in the middle of the football field. Don't know if there was a miscommunication there with the linebackers. They decided to come with pressure, but the linebackers and safeties have to fill the void, and right there they left the middle of the field wide open with Toon and just left right there on the edge with Kenny Stills.
Stills 3 receptions, 75 yards. Back to the ground. Steelers reaching around like that ball might be loose. And Kiesel will walk off with an injury. He is in tremendous pain. Is Brett Kiesel heading back to the Steelers sideline.
Looked like it may be a shoulder injury there. Can't lose the big fella. Sheared the beard. They need him in there.
Ingram. And once more, step for step with him is Jason Worlds. Worlds a backup to James Harrison and Lamar Woodley his first 3 years in the league. Had 8 sacks his first time as a starter a year ago. And if Kiesel's hurting, you got to really be hurt.
Well, they're really thin at the defensive line. You know, you talk about, you know, guys who aren't in. Steve McClendon's out. You know, they've got Cam Thompson, obviously Cameron Hayward. But take a look here. This is a big play here.
Stills again left all alone, and he will race to the end zone on a 3rd and 10. He got behind Ike Taylor, who's playing for the first time since September after breaking his arm, and twice long completions behind Taylor, and this one a 69-yard score.
Run the double move here on Ike Taylor, out and up. Ike slipped there on the defense. But great job here by Drew Brees. But it all starts up front. You're not able to go through these reads because it takes a while on double move. Look at that horseshoe right there. Great job by the offensive line, giving Drew Brees time to peruse the defense and find the open man. And usually when you have that, it leads to something big like this.
Well, they're going to take a look. Saw a few of the Steelers on the sideline pointing at the sideline as though Stills had stepped out of bounds. But no indication of that. And now a point after try by Shane Graham to make it 28-13. Well, how about that for an answer for Drew Brees and the Saints?
I'll tell you, just after the Baltimore game, this is a way to respond. You get back and you're seeing they're playing that zone defense. Great job, Sean Payton, dialing up here. Kenny Stills running a double move, offensive line buying time for Drew to keep his eyes downfield, and Kenny Stills just doing a wonderful job finishing. His 4th catch for 144 yards. I tell you, we talk so much about Jimmy Graham. Well, sometimes when you're in their offense and out there in formation and they're double teaming you, it allows others to elevate their game and make big plays like this.
Those 144 receiving yards that Donovan talked about, a career high for Stills. Got him out of Oklahoma in the 5th round a year ago.
Father, I think, also was a professional athlete who, you know, obviously put some wisdom into his young man. And and prepared him. He left school early, came out and he's really found a home here in New Orleans. Drew Brees spoke highly of him, great route runner. We've seen how effective he was in college, and now he's showing that he can play on the professional ranks.
Stills had a good game in that loss to Baltimore. He had 8 catches, a career high, 98 yards. Taylor, we mentioned, coming back for the first time since he broke his arm in September. Steelers really felt like they were going to get a look at what their defense is all about today, with so many guys healthy that have been out for a while. And then a couple of others are still necked up. And Wheaton, his second good return of the day, had one for 41 yards, and this one up to the 25. Week 13 continues later on CBS. And for some of you as well on Fox. Big one for the Cardinals and the Falcons. And later tonight on NBC, tomorrow night on ESPN. A couple of guys heading to Canton, Ohio one day when their careers are over. And you see the numbers today. Brees out dueling Roethlisberger thus far.
Seems that we have some confusion on the defense for New Orleans.
Hey, 50. Yeah. 50. Blue 80. Blue 80.
41 to play in the third quarter. Roethlisberger drops it off to Le'Veon Bell. Across midfield. Run out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Great job right there with Ben, being able to utilize Le'Veon Bell here on the route. Had man-to-man coverage, working the inside of the route. Linebacker Hawthorne again having to cover man-to-man versus Le'Veon Bell. Great job getting upfield. If he would have got one more block by Antonio Brown, may have ended up in the end zone.
Career-long reception for Le'Veon Bell. That one at 48 yards, and an injured Saint is all the way back to the 15. That's Akeem Hicks. Talked about all the injuries. Both of these defenses. Saints last week lost Broderick Buckley. They've already lost Bird and Bush at safety. Glenn Foster, Benny Sanseri, another safety. And of course the receiver Brandon Cooks. Let's check in downstairs with Carissa.
You guys are talking about all these injuries. Unfortunately for the Steelers, Breck Kiesel is doubtful to return with a left tricep injury. Medical staff kept trying to come up to him and didn't really want any part of that. Mike Tomlin wrapped him up. He seemed okay, but I'm getting the report that he's doubtful to return.
All right, Carissa Thompson, thank you very much. Steelers trying to come right back. Scoring a touchdown, their first touchdown on their last possession.
Yeah. Zone it.
Saints needed 5 plays to answer that score. And now Roethlisberger throwing across his body to the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Here we had a naked bootleg. He tried to come across and possibly get Wheaton across the field. Didn't have him, but he had Antonio Brown standing over wide open on the right sideline. Sometimes as a quarterback, this is not what you do. You don't throw the ball across the field because it could end up being a turnover. But sometimes you got to take a shot.
Hey, 57. Set! Blue 80.
Bell wrapped up by Jordan. Not much running room there. Jordan had the interception on the tip pass, which set up a Saints touchdown.
Cameron Jordan's been playing well for him, especially in this game. You look at some of the takeaways in the last 4 weeks. He's had one takeaway, and today he's found himself over to Ben Roethlisberger for a couple sacks and an interception. So this is one in which, it could be a breakout game here for Cameron Jordan, but they have to find a way to finish. They've struggled over the last couple weeks of finishing games.
False start. Number 73 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. Third down.
Ramon Foster, the left guard. Right there.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when the first person you look at is the referee when you flinch. You're telling on yourself.
50-50-50.
All right, so 3rd and 9 backs them up 5 to 3rd and 14. And they will not run a play before the clock will end the 3rd quarter. Well, it's shaping up to be an exciting finish. 28-13, Saints in front. Back after a word from your local Fox station. Set to begin the 4th quarter here in Pittsburgh. By and large, this crowd has really been quieted by Drew Brees and the Saints. Brees with 4 touchdowns today. Has not thrown an interception. 3rd down at 14. Incomplete. Just led Bill a little too far, did Roethlisberger. If he catches that ball, it's a 1st down.
Yeah, but he had to leave his feet. It might have been about two yards short. You know, Ben's been a little off today, I mean, to say the least. You know, some of his balls here, his base is too wide. He's forcing it using all upper body. This isn't a Ben Roethlisberger we've seen definitely playing at home, you know, over the last couple of weeks. You know, one thing's for sure, this game is close enough, so if he happens to get back in rhythm quickly, he'll put him in great chance of winning.
47-yard field goal try by Sweezum. This guy's become automatic, but it's somewhere between 40 and 50 yards. 28 in a row from that distance.
Interception there by Cameron Jordan, creating a big turnover. Then here, missing a tackle with Nick Toon being able to explode into the end zone. And then here, Le'Veon Bell capitalizing to get back in the end zone to make it close. And on the defensive end, just giving up. Ike Taylor getting beat here by Kenny Stills, which leads to the big-time touchdown.
We take a look at our game summary as we're just underway here in the 4th quarter in Pittsburgh. Told you about Drew Brees, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, very efficient. A struggle for Ben Roethlisberger. You wonder when he hit his hand on Curtis Lofton on a throw in the 1st quarter if it had anything to do with really some missed opportunities with some missed receivers in this game today.
You know what I would say it had? It's done wonders for the New Orleans Saints, because now they can just bring pressure up the middle and force Ben to try to get off his spot and get outside the pocket. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's kind of pulled them back a little bit because they want to run the football. But in order to run the football and be balanced, you have to be effective throwing the football. He's inaccurate. He's kind of wavering of where he wants to go with the football. He's indecisive. And so for Ben Roethlisberger, I think it's important they get back on the sideline. Maybe talk to Todd Haley a little bit about getting back to the basics of the offense. The 3-step, the 5-step. Get the ball out of my hands a little bit to make sure the defense kind of softens to now start to run the football more and set up to get over the top, maybe with Antonio Brown or possibly Wheat.
And you brought it up. That's really how they got it going last week. I mean, this was a Steeler team, or 2 weeks ago. They had last week off. They were down 11 points in the 4th quarter on the road in Tennessee and had to rally to win that game by 3. We're going to need a 4th quarter rally here today. Cadet out of the end zone. And he is stopped right at the 20-yard line. Well, many NFL athletes grew up playing in communities all across this great country of ours, and now through NFL Play 60, they're encouraging kids in neighborhoods everywhere to come out and play for 60 minutes a day. How about that? Visit NFLrush.com/play60 to learn more. Get off the video game and get out and run around a little bit.
I say that. I mean, what happened to recess? What happened to getting out and having fun, king of the hill, maybe play a little flag football now and then? These kids need to get outside and get active.
First down, they give it to Ingram. That'll be a gain of 3, nearly 4. Ingram, his first 3 years in the league, as Donovan talked about earlier. You know, he was sharing carries and sharing playing time when he was healthy enough to play, frequently injured. They had Pierre Thomas and Chris Ivory and Darren Sproles, among others. He's already surpassed by far his number of rushing attempts this year than the average of his first 3 years, and the same old's true in rushing yards. They're leaning on him hard right now. Play action. Boy, and Breeze is just picking this defense apart. Josh Hill, backup tight end, up to the 40-yard line.
Again, you know, we talk about the runner, Mark Ingram, and how effective he's been in this offense. This is what happens when you run the football that way. Now you start to get a little man coverage. You got linebackers like Spence covering the backup tight end. You want to question now, if you're a New Orleans fan, where's Jimmy Graham? Well, with Jimmy Graham now, you're rotating different guys. Kenny Stills stepping up. Nick Toombs stepping up. Now we have Hill also doing the same. So look for this Saints team to get back to running the football.
Pumping and sacked. Timmons the first one there. Worlds was there as well. They'll give Worlds a sack.
You know, sometimes offensive coordinators get too cute. And this is right here. This is when you're being defined as being too cute. You need to run the football. You need to get back to establishing the run game. They went with an out and up. You know, there it was cover 2. They went with another double move on both sides, mirrored routes. They end up doing a great job in the secondary, which led to Drew Brees holding the football entirely too long.
And standing on the sideline on a 2nd and 17 is Graham. Polamalu on the blitz. Ingram picked it up. And is that a catch by Stills? They are saying that is a reception for a first down, again in front of Taylor. Unbelievably, the yards continue to pile up for Stills.
That's a great catch right there by that young man. You know.
Or are they saying now incomplete?
Yeah, that right there is a catch. Ball went through his hands, hit him right in the legs in the breastbasket, and he was able to corral it. Sean Payton will find out at the end, and he'll probably get this first down.
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field that the pass was complete.
So the call on the field is an incompleted pass. Sean Payton challenges that, and while they take a look, we'll step aside. Breeze under pressure there, took a lick from Polamalu, but we'll see if he completed the 2nd and 17. We get the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is a catch. Ball be placed on the 49-yard line. New Orleans will not be charged a timeout or a challenge.
It's interesting there, Mike. It looked like one official said incompletion. Another official said completed pass. How do they make the decision on what the actual call is on the field?
Well, whoever stands the firmest, but usually it's the negative that wins out, and that's the incomplete pass. But you saw really here that the ball never touches the ground, and that's what they looked for. Got control with the right hand, and then the left knee hit before he rolled out of bounds. So good, solid reversal.
We thank Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. So a first down and a run to Ingram, who lost a yard. Cam Thomas chasing him down as we close in on the 12-minute mark. 12 points a spread. You know, it's interesting, you know, you sit around and you talk about game planning, and boy, you got to stop this guy if you're going to beat him. If somebody would have told you Jimmy Graham did not have a single catch with 12 minutes to go, you'd say the Saints are in trouble. Goes to show, not necessarily the case, because he doesn't have a catch. And they got it going on right now. Ingram to the 44-yard line. Third down coming up. Or Pierre Thomas, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, Pierre Thomas. And they're in a great rotation right now. That was Pierre Thomas's third rush of the game. He's coming in fresh on the sideline, able to give Mark Ingram an opportunity to rest a little bit. Jimmy Graham came into the game. Obviously, he draws a lot of attention anytime he's lined up in the formation. If it's a tight end, a slot receiver, or even split out wide by himself. So here on third down, again, this is one that they have to clean up. Haven't been effective, but this is an important play for them.
And down goes Breeze at the 47-yard line. There is a penalty flag, however, in the secondary.
Holding. Pass interference.
Holding. Number 41 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Antoine Blake, who's filling in for the injured Bryce McCain from earlier in the game. Well, he had his hands all over Morgan. Vince Williams, who would be sacked, not to be. So an automatic first down at the Pittsburgh 37. Colston dropped it.
It's been something that's been bothering him all season. He's been dropping a lot of balls. You know, for Marques Colston, it's rare. He's got to get back on track. I tell you, they needed that play to keep this thing alive, especially coming off a big penalty to get the first down.
Inside the 20 and run out of bounds inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line. And Taylor doing some pushing and shoving down there along the sidelines with Joe Morgan. Well, there are a lot of guys trying to get in there and get people separated, but now a few more of them get tangled up. Officials handled that beautifully. See what happens here. Looks like Mitchell grabs a hold of Ingram's face mask. Then the hit by Taylor.
And then Robinson came in.
Morgan shoving Taylor. Headbutt the other way.
It's just an excellent job by Mark Ingram here, exploding, finding the hole, and utilizing his speed to get to the corner. It's something we've been talking about. He's got 100 yards rushing. You know, he's carried this streak on of 100 yards.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Well, you could have gotten Ike Taylor actually twice on that play. You could have got him for the hit once Ingram was out of bounds, and then certainly for the headbutt on Morgan, although Morgan had shoved him to start it. But that's the only thing they saw.
Well, I think when the flag was thrown, when Ben Watson then came over, I think it was, you know, one of the defensive linemen that come over and got physical. Cam Thomas, you know, one of those guys, and they really threw the flag on him.
Timeout called by New Orleans with 10:29 to play. You know, Donovan, you played this game and played it so brilliantly for so many years, 5 times leading your Eagles to the NFC Championship game and once to a Super Bowl. And, you know, it doesn't matter how long you watch any sport, but especially this year in the NFL, just when you think you have it figured out. And here we are, the Saints, they lose 3 in a row at home where they never lose. Steelers have been nearly unbeatable at home. And New Orleans has dominated this game after the first quarter. It's funny you bring it up. Talking to Mike Tomlin, talking to Ike Taylor, Brent Keys, all the veterans, they looked at it in the sense of, you know, don't be fooled by the 4-7 record. This is a team that's strong on offense. They're also defensively, they can make plays. So, you know, make sure you stay prepared, treat it just like they're an undefeated football team, and you got to come out and give all that you have. Saints have scored on 4 of their last 5 possessions. And all of those, by the way, are touchdowns. And make it 5 out of 6 on a touchdown to Colston.
Colston in the end zone. Touchdown Saints.
This has been the kind of performance today that the Saints envisioned when this season began.
You know, this is just a great job of Drew Brees, just recognizing, going against Antoine Blake, who recently had the penalty, the holding penalty against, to go up with your 6'4" wide receiver, Marques Colston. Throw a jump ball, back shoulder, however you have to throw it to make him compete for the pass. Marques Colston, who dropped the ball about 3 plays before, comes back to finish things off the right way.
What a combination they have been. Breeze, who no one wanted. Colston, the 252nd pick. They both came in 06. That's their 66th touchdown connection, 6th best of all time. What a performance it has been today by this New Orleans Saints team. And you say team. They've done it on offense. Yes. Touchdowns, 5 of their last 6 possessions. Started very ugly today. First quarter, really first quarter and a half, they only had 2 first downs. And now all of a sudden Breeze has thrown 5 touchdowns without a turnover. Looking forward to this weekend. Oregon already beaten by Arizona, their only loss this year, trying to get into that Final Four, as is Ohio State. That'll be the Big Ten title game on Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on Fox.
Blue 80. Blue 87.
There'll be a whole lot of passing going on here. Steelers are down 35-16, 10:22 to go.
It's no huddle time. This is when you need to get on the mark and get things going quickly. Pittsburgh's been very effective when they go no huddle. You know, expect the intermediate shots, you know, to come between the 10 and 8 yard completions, and then set up for the big play.
Pump fake. Flag comes down. Miller up to the 27.
Looks like a holding there by Lofton.
Yeah, he was
holding, number 50. Defense penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
That's an automatic first down. Don't know what Coach Tomlin was barking about there, but
5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Perhaps he knew exactly what he was talking about there.
Well, he wanted to get the completion, also add 5 yards to it. So we're going to get a good first down. But again, this is what you have to do. You have to attack the middle of the football field versus these linebackers. If it's your running back, if it's your tight ends, your slot defense, whatever it may be, you have to attack down the middle of the football field.
Look one way, come back the other way. And across the middle, it's Antonio Brown for a first down up to the 36-yard line. Brown getting his catches today. 5 receptions, 77 yards, but it hasn't been that back-breaking reception today as it's been seemingly every week this year.
Well, that's because they haven't been in rhythm. And if you take a look here, I mean, you get a couple completions, and at this point in the game, the secondary is just going to soften up, keep everything in front. They don't want to give up the big play behind the safeties. So, yeah, you'll get about 8, 9 catches in a game like this because of that. But they needed those explosive plays in the second quarter. They needed them early in the third quarter. You know, now it's just trying to play catch up, and you're not allowing them to get behind you.
Blue 20. Blue 27.
Precisely the kind of passing and receptions that Donovan just referred to. Make a catch, you'll gain 8. Make a catch, you gain 9. That one dropped. Never had it cleanly.
Yeah, that's rare for Heath Miller to drop a ball like that. But expect them to go right back to that. They're playing the same coverage the whole way through. So just go kick your dink and dunks over the football, maybe out on the edges and the slots.
Play it off to Bell. And he's at the 46-yard line. It'll bring up third down and 10.
Stop by Walker.
You begin to wonder watching this Pittsburgh Steelers offense of when they will at least take another shot downfield. I know that they're playing the 2 high safeties, and here in this look here, you got single high safety. This is when you want to be able to get over the top. But on third down, you got to get the ball out quickly because you know you're getting blitzed.
Ray.
interception chance for Patrick Robinson. It's incomplete, and Steelers, they have to go for it.
Yes. You know, Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger understood each other there. You have to go for it. You got to find a way to get back into this game, and punting's just not going to get it done. But for Ben Roethlisberger, you can't keep double clutching and double pumping in the pocket, because now you're going to start to force throws, which will lead to turnovers. So he's got to get back in rhythm, find a way to get this first down and keep the chains moving.
Heavy pressure gets it away. And diving to try and get to that first down marker is Marcus Weech. Boy, this is going to be very close. And remember, that's a 4th down catch. And they're going to bring out the chains for a measurement. Great effort there by Wheaton.
Timeout for a measurement.
You can see how far he is by the time they start grabbing a hold of it.
Watch that knee right there. Yeah, that's the only problem. You know, I think even if they're remotely, if they're good here, I think Sean Payton probably would throw the flag.
First down. And, I mean, Payton
He's
nearly running to the spot. He says not a chance, and he looks to be correct. Well, again, let's see where the ball is, though, when that knee does hit the ground.
New Orleans is challenging on the ruling on the field. The Pittsburgh did not make the line to gain. Timeout.
Payton is challenged and won once already today.
Oh, look at the pound there. The little pound from Rob and Sean. All right.
Today's game is sponsored by the new Samsung Galaxy Note 4. The next big thing is here.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down at the 45-yard line. First down, New Orleans. New Orleans will not be charged a timeout. And since they've won 2 challenges,
Not even close. You can read the lips of Rob Ryan.
It's feeling good, huh?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, you know, you talked about it going to break. There you see the knee down and ball not at the first down red line mark. Now, look, there's 4 weeks left to go.
Yeah.
After this game today. And frequently the term is used and overused about, you know, backs against the wall and every cliche you can think of. But with all the success the New Orleans Saints have had over the last number of years, this truly was a game they needed to show up.
Yes.
You look at their schedule the rest of the way. They'll play at home against Carolina.
Right.
Go to Chicago. Big one against Atlanta. They're all big. Then you go to Tampa Bay at the end of the year, and you look at the Falcons going to Green Bay, play the Steelers at home in New Orleans and Carolina. Which one would you want?
So it's safe to say that we think the New Orleans Saints probably will be better off making it to the playoffs here.
Ready, Blue 90.
Looks like we
false
have
start, number 89. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
You know, you look at Carolina, and that's a reigning division champion. Ever since they lost Greg Hardy,
right,
very early this year, they have not been the
Jordan
same
Gross,
defense.
their offensive tackle, who decided to retire. Their running back situation hasn't truly been healthy enough for Cam Newton with D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. The defense hasn't been the same as far as getting off the field on third down. The thing that I look at when it comes to New Orleans Saints, they play Atlanta twice. That's a team they always rise for. They play well against the Atlanta Falcons. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to end things off. Probably works in their favor.
Well, big news with the Cleveland Browns. How about it, Joel Klatt?
That's right, Tom. We go to Buffalo. Hoyer benched, Manziel in, and he leads the Browns on an 8-play, 80-yard drive, takes it in himself. Show him the money. You know that's coming. Johnny Manziel brings the Browns within 10. It's 20-10. Tom, Donovan, and Carissa.
Well, I tell you what, you talk about now quarterback controversy supreme with the Browns very much in the hunt.
Well, you better be ready for a little showtime if you're going to put Johnny Manziel in there. One thing's for sure, though. Brian Hoyer had been struggling just last week, even though we focused so much on Josh Gordon coming back and how effective he was in the passing game. I believe that Brian Hoyer turned the football over 3 or 4 times in that game. And that's something you just can't do for a football team that's trying to form an identity and in a close race here with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I mean, you got the Browns losing. The Ravens are leading. The Bengals are hanging on by a single point in the final minute and a half in Tampa. But the Buccaneers have the football in that game. And here the Steelers are really getting run over. I mean, there's no other way to describe it.
So this just hasn't been what we've seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially playing late in the season. You go back when they were 8-8 the last couple years, and you wonder what was it or what could they bring in to get them over the hump. Well, offensively, Ben Roethlisberger's numbers have been great. Antonio Brown's numbers have been great. Le'Veon Bell's numbers have been great. They brought the old band back on defense. Well, it just hasn't been the same defense that we've seen over the years. They wanted to get back to playing physical football, and that's something that Ike Taylor, Brent Kiesel, Mike Tomlin talked about, and that's something they felt like had been missing from this football team. Well, we haven't seen that today. The New Orleans Saints have really brought it to the Pittsburgh Steelers of being physical by running the football, being effective on play action. They haven't been great on third down. Right now, I think they're at 50%, but it's still something to be said about how they're playing.
So the Steelers letting the play clock expire. They'll take the penalty. Or call the timeout.
The Saints allowed it to get the penalty.
And now the punt. Antonio Brown will let it bounce. A lot of shaking heads on one side, a lot of shaking hands and smiling on the other. You know, before today, the only NFC South team to beat an AFC North team this year, one time it happened. And that was Tampa Bay stunning the Steelers here in week 4. Completion made to Wheaton up to the 22-yard line. Here you have New Orleans. 5.5 minutes away from beating an AFC North team. Tampa Bay within field goal range in the final seconds, trying to knock off Cincinnati. So you could have 2 of them in one day. Miller be tackled in the open field up to the 27-yard line, and everything in hurry-up mode right now.
This is something I felt like they should have done a whole lot earlier for this football team to be effective, get back in rhythm. They do a great job in the no-huddle offense, just thinking and dunking. And it's good for the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, to get into a rhythm like this.
Well, you know, we're talking about the Bengals there. Today was a game they figured was a gimme. I mean, you're on the road at Tampa Bay, because look what they are facing over the Final Four. Steelers twice. They go to Cleveland, who beat them already. Denver comes into Cincinnati. The Ravens, on paper, theoretically have the easiest schedule of the bunch. Browns have divisional games against the Bengals and Baltimore. And they talk about these Steelers playing the Bengals twice. Batted down at the line of scrimmage by Cameron Jordan. He had a tip pass and he intercepted a tip pass.
He's having a day today. I tell you, for Cameron Jordan, you know, this has been his day to possibly, you know, kickstart the later part of the season. You know, it was big questions early on in the season of how they were going to generate pass rush and get to the opposing quarterback. Gillette gets paid at the beginning of the season. Cameron Jordan really hasn't been himself. The last couple games, he's starting to pick it up a little bit. And this game, he's dominating.
Roethlisberger, penalty flag down. Miller for a first down, close to midfield.
Holding. Number 68 offense. 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
Well, that'll be taken away on the holding call against Kelvin Beachum.
On Gillette there, I just mentioned, you know, the 2 guys, Gillette being paid at the beginning of the season. You know, had a great game against Baltimore early on last week. And, you know, they're trying to bring more and more pressure. If it's from Rob Ryan deciding to blitz blitz. A lot of times he's going all out blitz when you don't want him to. But he's trying to get his secondary out of coverage so much. They've been, just been on the top of coverage. Opposing offenses have been able to create that big play. And now playing a team like this where they're playing pretty solid, we'll see what happens next week for them.
And Roethlisberger is dropped by Jordan.
Mike Adams is having a bad day today. I tell you, every time you look up, you see 94 somewhere around Ben Roethlisberger. Gillette again coming around with versus Beecham. But here, just a straight up speed move, being able to bull rush, come inside. Mike Adams getting beat, Cameron Jordan able to finish the play. And speaking of finishing the play, that's been part of the problem for the New Orleans Saints. They haven't been able to finish games, losing games in the fourth quarter. I believe 4 to 6 times this year, and that probably cost them wins.
Wade will make the catch, and he'll step out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Saints have blown 6 games this year where they had a lead. As Donovan mentioned, 4 of them coming in the fourth quarter of games.
Have a face mask here.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 74, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Corey White, 24. .401 to go.
Starting to empty out a little bit here in the stadium.
Waiting for a football.
Football would definitely help.
I think some of the fans took it home with them. Boy, both of these cities just have such incredible fans. Just on the plane flying in here. Happen to be on the same flight with a lot of, I'm assuming, Steeler fans that were either out of town maybe during the Thanksgiving Day holiday, and some of the Saints fans who were coming into Pittsburgh for the weekend. And I mean, that entire plane ride, they were giving it back and forth to each other. And Donovan, you played so many years, not as many obviously interconference games as intra-conference games, but well, what great followings both of these franchises have.
A lot of pride here when it comes to New Orleans and also Pittsburgh. For all sports, you talk about the New Orleans Pelican basketball team with Anthony Davis and the emergence that he's brought to that city, and then the football team winning the Super Bowl, to Pittsburgh here with Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins, to Pittsburgh Panthers, to now the Steelers.
Andrew McCutchen.
Andrew McCutchen. So for a franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers and also the New Orleans Saints, it's a battle. And so they look forward to this opportunity, obviously for the Saints and also for the Steelers to trying to move up in their division.
Roethlisberger finds Wheaton inside the 10, first and goal, Steelers. It's so interesting when you look at some of the great quarterbacks. 2 of them we have here today. As that one is thrown up into the air and batted away, beautifully defended by Robinson. It's always surprising when you see some of the numbers when you're throwing for more than 300 yards. There is a penalty flag, by the way, on the near side.
Eagle, you say hands to the face, number 28. Defense, 5-yard penalty or half the distance of the goal, automatic first down.
Oftentimes when a quarterback throws for over 300 yards, I think a lot of fans all of a sudden assume that means it's been a good day. That's more times than not the case.
Yeah, you want to get those garbage numbers toward the end, and that's what we're seeing right now from Ben and his wide receivers. The same could be said last week with New Orleans when they played Baltimore. If you look up and see Drew Brees' numbers with 120 QB rating, you would have thought they had a great chance in that game.
Throw to the end zone, incomplete. To back that up, Roethlisberger today. Because of all these completions here the last couple of drives when the Saints are just giving them, 8, 10, 12-yard throws. It's his 34th career 300-yard passing game. The Steelers are one game under 500. When he throws for 300 or more, it's about to go to 200.
Yeah. You know, those are stats as a quarterback you don't want to hear. You want to put up great numbers, but you don't want to put up great numbers and go into the losing category. I tell you, for this Pittsburgh Steelers team, it's about for them getting back to physical football, and that's running the football and playing strong defense, and however they have to do it. Much credit to this New Orleans football team, especially this defense. You know, we see on the sideline Rob Ryan and Sean Payton going back and forth, but this is something to be said about how they're applying pressure from their defensive line. They know that they're attacking their linebackers and safeties, and they've been effective with Le'Veon Bell and also Heath Miller. But their corners have played well. Keenan Lewis, also we talk about Robson, who should have had 2 interceptions today, but they've played well all day. Here, look up for all-out blitz.
Touchdown to Antonio Brown.
Fantasy football lovers will love that.
Yep. Brown, 6 reception, 90 yards. Make it now 7 receptions for 94 and a touchdown.
You good?
Yeah.
Set! Blue 20. Blue 20.
They go for 2 and successfully to Antonio Brown. Makes it 35-24. We take a look ahead next week. The Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. America's Game of the Week, Mr. McNabb, your longtime team, the Philadelphia Eagles, dominating the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day here on Fox. Now the defending Super Bowl champs come to town.
Well, you know what? You go back to that Dallas game, the one thing that they made a point of emphasis was stopping the run. And stopping the run with DeMarco Murray, who held him under 100 yards, getting pressure on Tony Romo, confusing him a little bit. And they need to keep that same game plan versus Seattle. Try to hold Marshawn Lynch under 100 yards and keep Russell Wilson in the pocket. That means their ends are going to have to contain, not get past Russell Wilson, keep them in that pocket, stay physical on the outside, and they've got a great chance of winning that game.
Here on a day where Drew Brees has hit 9 different receivers, Saints have scored 35 points. Brees has thrown 5 touchdowns, and not one time all day has he thrown a pass to Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. This might be the only time he catches a ball all day today on this onside kick.
On the onside kick. Now watch the ball go right to him, too. And he dropped it.
Error on the shortstop. Of course, he was a basketball player. Going back to his days of the Miami Hurricanes. Forward for 4 years, following the footsteps of one Donovan McNabb for the Orangemen of Syracuse.
Oh, look at the slim Thundercat right there, looking sexy. I tell you, explosive on the basketball court.
Hey, you played in it. We were talking on the way over here today. Not only did you play basketball for Syracuse, but one of the great programs under Jim Boeheim for 35 years, whatever he's been there now. You actually had a chance to be in uniform and were there for the national championship game against Kentucky.
Yes, I was there. If you take a look at the highlights, I was 3rd seat from the end when you include the head trainer, Don Lowe. I was a phenom when it came to warm-ups and also at halftime hitting 3-point baskets. But you know what? It was a great run. We ended up losing to Kentucky. It was a fun experience and one that I always remember.
You know, what's interesting is you had a chance to go up against your former high school teammate, who went on to Kentucky and later in the NBA for many years, Antoine Walker.
Yeah, Antoine and I, it's funny, you know, we end up leaving Mount Carmel High School in Chicago, Illinois. He ended up going to Kentucky. I went to Syracuse, played both sports at Syracuse, and just to watch the success that he had. And I was so proud of him. That game was his last game, actually, against us in the national championship game. Decided to go. He was a lottery pick. in the NBA draft, played with the Boston Celtics for years. Then he left there and won a championship in Miami. But, you know, I was just so happy for him because he was a great player. He was determined. You know, good things happen for him. So Mount Carmel High School, for all of you listening, watching the game, yeah, it's a great program in Chicago, coached by Frank Lindsay in football.
We saw Taylor there shaking up again, wrapped up here by Harrison. But Taylor stays in the game, as this will take us down to the 2-minute warning. What a business trip it has turned out to be, coming to Pittsburgh for the New Orleans Saints. They have taken it right to Big Ben and the Steelers.
I got
2 minutes to go.
Great, let's go.
And the Saints trying to tie a ribbon around this one.
You know, they've had trouble finishing games, and what a better way to finish games than just give it to Mark Ingram and just let him run.
I mean, you look at the balance, and Sean Payton will be the first to tell you, in 2009 when they won it all, 2011 when they had a great year, they lost in the playoffs. You know, both of those years they had the 6th best rushing offense in the NFL.
Yeah.
And here this year they're up to number 8. Well, we asked him the other day, and I admired his honesty. You know, I asked him, I said, I keep reading and hearing a lot of people say that there's something missing with your offense.
Right.
And he said there's no doubt about it. He said, you know, you go back, we had Reggie Bush for a long time. We had Darryl Sproles, that home run hitter, if you will. And that certainly has been something that they have been missing this entire year. Welcome so many of you watching from around the country alongside Donovan McNabb and Carissa Thompson, Mike Pereira, Tom Brenneman, our entire Fox crew here in Pittsburgh. Well, I'm not sure anybody saw this coming. Steelers on quite a roll. Coming in at 7-4 in the rough and tumble AFC North, where every team had won 7 games. You know all about the NFC South. Early on, Pittsburgh dominated the first quarter and a half, but then the Saints, over a 6-possession span, scored 5 touchdowns to just run away and hide.
You know, spreading the ball around to 9 different receivers, and one of them not being Jimmy Graham. You look at the effectiveness of the run game with Mark Ingram, the way the defense had been playing, Cameron Jordan getting a couple sacks in this game, Gillette, Brian applying pressure. The corners, have they played, Keenan Lewis as well as Robinson. Tip your hat off to this New Orleans Saints team because they came ready to play today.
They sure did. It's been a good game for this guy, Le'Veon Bell. And he is hit by Vaccaro. And that draws a penalty flag.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 32, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
This young man's a solid safety in this league. He came from the University of Texas, early draft pick by the New Orleans Saints, and have continued to just get better. I thought with he and Jarius Byrd back there at the safety position, they would be the best duo on the defensive end. But Jarius suffered a season-ending injury, which kept him out there by himself. But, you know, that was just another great play. He played with his heart on his sleeve.
Bell spins out of a tackle, and he's inside the 42 to 38 as we're down to the final 40 seconds. Well, the Bengals hung on and won their game by 1 in Tampa Bay. So they go to 8-3-1. The Ravens are leading, but there's still a minute 46 to go in that one. It's a tight one against San Diego, as Bell will be caught at the 5-yard line, and the clock continues to run. And the Browns lose today in Buffalo. So big wins today, or a really big win for Cincinnati. And like we said, that Baltimore game is not a final.
Not final yet. And you look at just their schedule, their upcoming schedule, you would say Baltimore has a better chance of winning, in the next couple of weeks and winning the division. But again, it's going to be a tight race, I believe. The Cleveland Browns, bench Brian Hoyer, but Johnny Manziel in today. He was able to drive down for a score, but just not enough. See what's happening here with the New Orleans Saints beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the same goes for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, what Cincinnati Bengals team are we going to see? Just beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Almost an interception right there. But it's something to be said about this division. And this is the way it's been.
Roughing the passer, number 32, defense. Happens to go automatic first down.
It's been something to be said about this division over the last couple of years. The Cincinnati Bengals have stepped up for the last couple of three years or so with the Red Rifle. Andy Dalton winning, but not winning a playoff game. So we'll keep an eye on it and see if Pittsburgh can be able to get back on track.
And again, the Steelers will go to Cincinnati next Sunday. They will play twice over the final 4 games of the year, including the finale right here. Should be the final play of the game.
Blue 20. Blue, what's up?
And it's a touchdown on the game's final play to Antonio Brown. Well, naturally, they will go for 2, but there's no more time left in the game. So, if they had 1 second left, you could attempt an onside kick. I guess what Coach Tomlin is wondering about here to check the clock. They have to review every scoring play, and once they review
Game clock is correct. We will do an untimed down by rule.
Yeah, 50. 50.
Two-point conversion to Lance Moore, and that's the way it'll end. What a huge win for the New Orleans Saints. You can laugh at the NFC South. They're not laughing at them here in Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay won here, and now New Orleans wins here. We're back to Pittsburgh in a moment.